The British Honours system is a means of rewarding individuals' personal bravery, achievement, or service to the United Kingdom and the British Overseas Territories. The system consists of three types of award: honours, decorations and medals. Honours are used to recognise merit in terms of achievement and service. Decorations tend to be used to recognize specific deeds. Medals are used to recognize bravery, long and/or valuable service and/or good conduct. Brief history. Although the Anglo-Saxon monarchs are known to have rewarded their loyal subjects with rings and other symbols of favour, it was the Normans who introduced knighthoods as part of the feudal government. The first English order of chivalry, the Order of the Garter, was created in 1348 by Edward III. Since then the system has evolved to address the changing need to recognize other forms of service to the United Kingdom. Modern honours. As the head of state, the sovereign remains the fount of honour, but the system for identifying and recognizing candidates to honour has changed considerably over time. Various orders of knighthood have been created, as well as awards for military service, bravery, merit, and achievement, which take the form of decorations or medals. Most medals are not graded. Each one recognizes specific service, and as such there are normally set criteria which must be met. These criteria may include a period of time and will often delimit a particular geographic region. Medals are not normally presented by the sovereign. A full list is printed in the Order of Wear, published by the London Gazette. Orders of Honours. Honours are split into classes and are graded to distinguish different degrees of achievement or service, according to various criteria. Nominations are reviewed by honours committees made up of government officials and private citizens from different fields, who meet twice a year to discuss the candidates and make recommendations for appropriate honours to be awarded by the Queen. New Year and Birthday Honours. A list of approximately 1,350 names is published twice a year, at the New Year and on the date of the sovereign's birthday. Since the decisions are inevitably subjective, the twice-yearly honours lists often provoke criticism from those who feel strongly about particular cases. Candidates are identified by public or private bodies, by government departments, or are nominated by members of the public, depending on the roles. Those people selected by the Honours Committee are submitted either to the Prime Minister, Secretary of State for Foreign and Commonwealth Affairs, or Secretary of State for Defence for their approval before being sent to the Sovereign for final approval. Certain honours are awarded solely at the Sovereign's discretion, such as the Order of the Garter, the Order of the Thistle, the Royal Victorian Order, the Order of Merit and the Royal Family Order. The awards are then presented by the Sovereign or her designated representative. The Prince of Wales, the Duke of Cambridge and the Princess Royal have deputised for the Queen at investiture ceremonies at Buckingham Palace. New Year Honours lists Queen's Birthday Honours lists Prime Minister's Resignation Honours. By convention, a departing Prime Minister is allowed to nominate Prime Minister's Resignation Honours to reward political and personal service. In recent history, only Tony Blair and Gordon Brown have not taken up this privilege. Crown Honours lists current orders of chivalry. The current system is made up of 6 orders of chivalry and 4 orders of merit. The statutes of each order specify matters such as the size of the order, the use of post-nominal letters and insignia design and display. Dormant orders of chivalry. Orders were created for particular reasons at particular times. In some cases these reasons have ceased to have any validity and orders have fallen into abeyance, primarily due to the decline of the British Empire during the 20th century. Reforms of the system have sometimes made other changes. For example, the British Empire Medal ceased to be awarded in the UK in 1993, as was the companion-level award of the Imperial Service Order. The British Empire Medal was revived, however, in 2012 with 293 BEMs awarded for the Queen's Diamond Jubilee. In addition, BEM is used by the Cook Islands and by some other Commonwealth nations. The Order of Sympatric. The Order of Sympatric was founded in 1783 by George III for the Kingdom of Ireland, and after the Acts of Union 1800 continued for Irish peers in the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Ireland. After the Irish Free State's secession in 1922, only members of the royal family were appointed to the order, the last in 1936. The last surviving knight was Prince Henry, Duke of Gloucester, who died on 10 June 1974. Although dormant, the order technically still exists, and may be awarded at any time. Queen Elizabeth II is the current sovereign of this order. Imperial Orders. These orders, relating to the British Raj of the British Indian Empire, are also dormant. The Senior Order, the Order of the Star of India, was divided into 3 grades: Knight Grand Commander, Knight Commander and Companion, of which the first and highest was conferred upon the princes and chiefs of Indian states and upon important British civil servants working in India. Women were not eligible to receive the award. The Junior Order, the Order of the Indian Empire, was divided into the same ranks and also excluded women. The Third Order, the Order of the Crown of India, was used exclusively to honor women. Its members, all sharing a single grade, consisted of the wives and close female relatives of Indian princes or chiefs, the Viceroy Governor-General, the Governors of Bombay, Madras and Bengal, the Principal Secretary of State for India, and the Commander-in-Chief in India. Upon Indian independence in 1947, appointments to all these orders ceased. H.H. Maharaja Tej Singh Prabhakar Bahadur of Alvar, who was a KCSI and the last surviving member of the Order of the Star of India, died in February 2009, aged 97. The last surviving member of the Order of the Indian Empire, H. Maharaja Meghraj III of Drongadra Halvad, a KCIE, died in August 2010, aged 87. Queen Elizabeth II was appointed to the Order of the Crown of India and is the last surviving former member of that order. The Queen remains also the sovereign of the Indian orders, as they have never been abolished. The Order of Burma was created in May 1940 by King George VI of the United Kingdom to recognize subjects of the British colony of Burma. This order had one class which entitled the member to the post-nominal letters ob but no title. It was originally intended to reward long and faithful service by military and police. In 1945 the royal warrant was altered to allow for membership for acts of gallantry as well as meritorious service. The order was one of the rarest awarded, with only 33 appointments by the time appointments were discontinued in 1948 when Burma declared independence. Orders formerly associated with the British monarch. The Royal Guelphic Order. The Royal Guelphic Order, also known as the Hanoverian Guelphic Order, was an honor founded by George, Prince Regent, in the name of his father King George III in 1815. In the United Kingdom it was used only briefly, until the death of William IV in 1837 that resulted in the ending of the personal union with the Kingdom of Hanover due to succession to the throne of Hanover following the Salic Law. Unlike in the United Kingdom, where women could inherit the throne, the order continued for some time as a national order of Hanover until the defeat and forced dissolution of the kingdom by Prussia in 1866. Since then the order has been a house order to be awarded by the House of Hanover. The order's current head is Ernst August Prinz von Hanover, head of the House of Hanover. The order includes two divisions, civil and military. During the personal union of the United Kingdom and Hanover it originally had 3 classes, but with several reorganizations since 1841 as house order today it has 4 classes and an additional Cross of Merit decorations. The decorations awarded are in order of wear. On the 1st of July 2009, BBC News reported that the Queen had approved a new posthumous award, the Elizabeth Cross, to honour members of the armed forces killed in action by terrorist attacks since World War II. The cross itself is given to the family of the deceased. Other honours and appointments. Hereditary Peerage. There are 5 ranks of hereditary peerage: Duke, Marquess, Earl, Viscount and Baron. Until the mid-20th century, peerages were usually hereditary and, until the end of the 20th century, English, British and UK peerages carried the right to a seat in the House of Lords. Hereditary peerages are now normally given only to members of the royal family. The most recent were the grants to the Queen's youngest son, the Earl of Wessex, on his marriage in 1999, and to the Queen's grandson Prince William, who was made the Duke of Cambridge on the morning before his marriage to Catherine Middleton on the 29th of April 2011. No hereditary peerages were granted to commoners after the Labour Party came to power in 1964, until Margaret Thatcher tentatively reintroduced them by 2 grants to men with no sons in 1983, respectively the Speaker of the House of Commons George Thomas and the former Deputy Prime Minister William Whitelaw. Both these titles died with the holders. She followed this with an earldom in 1984 for the former Prime Minister Harold Macmillan not long before his death, reviving a traditional honour for former Prime Ministers. Macmillan's grandson succeeded him on his death in 1986. No hereditary peerages have been created since, and Thatcher's own title was a life peerage. The concession of a baronetcy was granted to Margaret Thatcher's husband Dennis following her resignation. Hereditary peerages are not honours under the Crown, and so cannot normally be withdrawn. A peerage can be revoked only by a specific Act of Parliament, and then for only the current holder. In the case of hereditary peerages, a hereditary peer can disclaim his peerage for his own lifetime under Peerage Act 1963 within a year after inheriting the title. Life peerage. Modern life peerages were introduced under the Appellate Jurisdiction Act 1876, following a test case which established that non-statutory life peers would not have the right to sit in the House of Lords. At the time, life peerages were intended only for law lords, there being a desire to introduce legal expertise into the chamber to assist appellate law work, without conferring rights on future generations of these early working peers because the future generations might contain no legal experts. Subsequently, under the Life Peerages Act 1958, life peerages became the norm for all new grants outside the royal family, this being seen as a modest reform of the nature of the second legislative chamber. However, its effects were gradual because hereditary peers, and their successors, retained until recently the rights to attend and vote with the life peers. All hereditary peers except 92 chosen in a secret ballot of all hereditary peers have now lost the rights to sit in the second chamber. All hereditary peers retain dining rights to the House of Lords, retaining its title as the best club in London. All life peers hold the rank of Baron and automatically have the right to sit in the House of Lords. The title exists only for the duration of their own lifetime and is not passed to their heirs. Some life peerages are created as an honour for achievement. some for the specific purpose of introducing legislators from the various political parties and some under the Appellate Jurisdiction Act 1876, with a view to judicial work. There is a discrete number appointed as People's Peers, on recommendation of the general public. 26 Church of England bishops have a seat in the House of Lords. As a life peerage is not technically an honour under the Crown, it cannot normally be withdrawn once granted. Thus, while knighthoods have been withdrawn as honours under the Crown, convicted criminals who have served their sentences have returned to the House of Lords. In the case of Lord Archer of Weston-super-Mare, he has chosen only to exercise dining rights and has yet to speak following his release from his conviction for perjury. Baronetcy. A baronetcy is the lowest title of honour in the United Kingdom. It carries the title Sir. A baronetcy is, in the order of precedence, below a barony but above most knighthoods. Baronetcies are not peerages. When a baronetcy becomes vacant on the death of a holder, the heir, if he wishes to be addressed as Sir, is required to register the proofs of succession. The official roll of baronets is kept at the Ministry of Justice by the Registrar of the Baronetage. Anyone who considers that he is entitled to be entered on the roll may petition the Crown through the Lord Chancellor. Anyone succeeding to a baronetcy therefore must exhibit proofs of succession to the Lord Chancellor. A person who is not entered on the roll will not be addressed mentioned as a baronet or accorded precedence as a baronet, effectively declining the honour. The baronetcy can be revived at any time on provision of acceptable proofs of succession. As of 2008, 158 baronetcies are listed as presumably not extinct but awaiting proofs of succession. As with hereditary peerages, baronetcies generally ceased to be granted after the Labour Party came to power in 1964. The sole subsequent exception was a baronetcy created in 1990 for the husband of Margaret Thatcher, Sir Dennis Thatcher, later inherited by the son Mark Thatcher. Knighthood descended from medieval chivalry. Knights exist both within the orders of chivalry and in a class known as Knights Bachelor. Regular recipients include High Court judges and chief constables. Knighthood carries the title Sir. The female equivalent Dame exists only within the orders of chivalry. Order of St. John. Members of the Most Venerable Order of St. John of Jerusalem may wear the order's insignia, but the ranks within the Order of St. John do not confer official rank in the order of precedence, and, likewise, the abbreviations are post-nominal initials associated with the various grades of membership in the Order of St. John do not indicate precedence among the other orders. Thus, someone knighted in the order does not take precedence with the knights of other British orders, nor should they be addressed as Sir or Dame. Other orders, other British and Commonwealth orders, decorations and medals which do not carry titles but entitle the holder to place post-nominal letters after his or her name also exist, as do a small number of royal family orders. British honours in the Commonwealth realms. Until the mid-20th century, the British honours system was the primary, and generally the sole, honours system utilised across the various dominions and territories of the British Empire, which became the Commonwealth of Nations from 1949. Today, British honours and decorations continue to be awarded to citizens of Commonwealth realms and British Overseas Territories. Within the Commonwealth realms, however, the nature of the British honour or decoration awarded and the permissibility of its conferment varies from government to government. The British honours system comprises both dynastic honours, which are honours in the personal gift of the sovereign, and British state honours are decorations, which are not. Dynastic honours continue to be conferred by the sovereign in her capacity across the Commonwealth realms, though outside the United Kingdom they are typically non-titular honours such as the Order of Merit or the lower grades of the Royal Victorian. Order. In 1917 and 1919, the Government of Canada passed the Nickel Resolutions, which, despite being non-binding, gradually ended the conferment of titular honours, peerages, baronetcies and knighthoods to Canadians. Occasional conferments of knighthoods and imperial honours, notably following the Second World War, continued until 1955, when the Canadian government officially ended all awards of imperial honours to Canadians. In 1967, Canada established its own honours system with the Order of Canada and created its own system of bravery decorations in 1972, followed by its own system of military decorations for valour in 1993. Canadian service personnel remained eligible to receive the Imperial Victoria Cross until 1993, when a Canadian version was instituted. In 1975, the Australian government established its own honours system with the creation of the Order of Australia, also creating its own system of bravery decorations in that year. Indigenous police and fire service decorations followed from 1986, with a new system of military decorations created in 1991. Imperial honours continued to be conferred on Australians through 1989, when the last recommendations were made. With effect from 5 October 1992, the Australian government discontinued the awarding of imperial honours. Also in 1975, New Zealand instituted its first Indigenous honour, the Queen's Service Order, followed by the Order of New Zealand in 1987. In 1996, it replaced imperial honours with the New Zealand Order of Merit, and replaced imperial gallantry and bravery decorations with New Zealand decorations in 1999. Other Commonwealth realms have continued to apply the imperial honours system together with their own honours systems. Jamaica established its own honours system in 1969 with the passage of the National Honours and Awards Act, followed by Barbados and St. Lucia in 1980, the Solomon Islands in 1981, Belize in 1991, Antigua and Barbuda in 1998 and Papua New Guinea in 2004. The government of the Bahamas continues to solely utilize imperial honors. In 2007, it passed a National Honors Act which established a Bahamian honors system, however, it had not come into effect as of 2015. In practice, legislation across the Commonwealth realms regulating the awarding of imperial honors to citizens of a realm, including knighthoods and damehoods, does not necessarily prevent a citizen of a Commonwealth realm from receiving a substantive award of an imperial honor for service in the United Kingdom to its government. There continue to be numerous examples of Canadians, New Zealanders and Australians who have been honoured by the British government and are permitted to use the honour or its accompanying style, whether they are resident in their own nation or in the United Kingdom. Honorary Awards. Citizens of countries which do not have the Queen as the head of state sometimes have honours conferred upon them, in which case the awards are honorary. In the case of knighthoods, the holders are entitled to place initials behind the name but not style themselves Sir, as they are not entitled to receive the accolade. Examples of foreigners with honorary knighthoods are Billy Graham, Bill Gates, Bob Geldof, Bono and Rudolph Giuliani, while Arsene Wenger and Gerard Houllier are honorary OBEs. Honorary knighthoods arise from orders of chivalry rather than as Knights Bachelor, as the latter confers no post-nominal letters. Recipients of honorary awards who later become subjects of Her Majesty may apply to convert their awards to substantive ones. Examples of this are Marjorie Scardino, American CEO of Pearson plc, and Yehudi Manu, Menuhin, the American-born violinist and conductor. They were granted an honorary damehood and knighthood respectively while still American citizens, and converted them to substantive awards after they assumed British nationality, becoming Dame Marjorie and Seyfudi. Menuhin later accepted a life peerage with the title Lord Menuhin. Sir Tony O'Reilly, who holds both British and Irish nationality, uses the style Sir, but has also gained approval from the Irish government to accept the award as is necessary under the Irish constitution. Elizabeth Schwarzkopf, the German soprano, became entitled to be known as Dame Elizabeth when she took British nationality. Irish-born Sir Terry Wogan was initially awarded an honorary knighthood, but by the time he collected the accolade from the Queen in December 2005, he had obtained dual nationality and the award was upgraded to a substantive knighthood. Bob Geldof is often erroneously referred to as Sir Bob. He is not entitled to this style as an honorary knight as he is a citizen of the Republic of Ireland. There is no law in the UK preventing foreigners from holding a peerage, though only Commonwealth and Irish citizens may sit in the House of Lords. This has yet to be tested under the new arrangements. However, some other countries have laws restricting the acceptances of awards granted to would-be recipients by foreign powers. In Canada, where the Canadian House of Commons has opposed the granting of titular honours with its Nickel resolution, then Prime Minister Jean Chrétien advised the Queen not to grant Conrad Black a titular honour while he remained a Canadian citizen. Ceremony. Each year, around 2,600 people receive their awards personally from the Queen or a member of the royal family. The majority of investitures take place at Buckingham Palace, but some also take place at the Palace of Holyrood House in Edinburgh and at Windsor Castle. There are approximately 120 recipients at each investiture. The Queen usually conducts the investitures, although the Prince of Wales, the Princess Royal or, more recently, the Duke of Cambridge also holds some investitures on behalf of the Queen. During the ceremony, the Queen enters the ballroom of Buckingham Palace attended by two Gurkha orderly officers, a tradition begun in 1876 by Queen Victoria. On duty on the day are 5 members of the Queen's bodyguard of the Yeomen of the Guard, which was created in 1485 by Henry VII. They are the oldest, but not most senior, military corps in the United Kingdom. 4 gentlemen ushers are on duty to help look after the recipients and the guests. The Queen is escorted by either the Lord Chamberlain or the Lord Steward. After the national anthem has been played, he stands to the right of the Queen and announces the name of each recipient and the achievement for which they are being decorated. The Queen is provided with a brief background for each recipient by her equerry as they approach to receive their award. Those who are to be knighted kneel on an investiture stool to receive the accolade, which is bestowed by the Queen using the sword used by her father George VI as Duke of York and Colonel of the Scots Guards. Occasionally an award for gallantry may be made posthumously, and in this case the Queen presents the decoration, a medal, to the recipients, next of kin in private before the public investiture begins. After the award ceremony, those honoured are ushered out of the ballroom into the inner quadrangle of Buckingham Palace, where the royal rota of photographers are stationed. Here recipients are photographed with their awards. In some cases, members of the press may interview some of the more well-known people who have received honours.